Hi students, welcome. In this video we will be learning control objectives and control procedures. Control is one of the vital part of the management or managerial activities. And the control objective under internal control system is to provide a specific target against which to evaluate the effectiveness of the control system. So a control objective is a predetermined aspect which starts from planning stage. Whenever you implement those plan through your actions, you will be working to achieve those objectives. So directly we'll move on to the control objectives or the objectives of control under internal control system. First one, to ensure that the activities are performed in accordance with the predetermined standard, that is to see that activity is achieving the desired result. Every procedure, every plan is planned or every action is planned and the objective is set by the company, and for that particular objective the whole or the group of the people who work on par for that particular result oriented aspect. So the companies strive hard to achieve those goals which are predetermined standard. For example, in an examination you put your own self that I'll be getting 70% every subject. So that is your predetermined standard and you will be achieving that or you will be achieving more than that. So the company has to ensure the objective has to be planned and that has to be performed. Secondly, to know what is happening or what has actually happened in the organization. Once you planned, you should not keep that plan aside. You have to work upon it and you have to evaluate the plan. Whenever you have implemented or action taken, you have to check each and every day what is happening and what has happened in the organization. Thirdly, you will be having corrective actions. Whenever you are thinking about control objectives, you have to control all the aspect or you have to mitigate or minimize or reduce some of the major aspects like time, efforts and cost or the expenses. So the auditor is going to determine the corrective actions to minimize the major aspects like these. So to achieve your goal, whenever you take less time and less cost, the profitability and the productivity will be more. Then to coordinate the diverse activities and efforts, whatever you planned at the beginning, that the same plan will not be there. There are unknown or uncertain circumstances will be happening. So the plan should have a flexibility to coordinate with the diversity with the activities and the efforts which are made by the employees of the organization. And finally, to improve the efficiency of the operations by minimizing the unnecessary and wasteful actions, the control objectives can be set a standard by or to achieve the goals of the organization. Next topic is nature and characteristics of a control. So you know what is control. It is one of the part of your management activities and it is one of the integral part of the internal control system. So from environment to monitoring, everywhere control is the key. So the control is a dynamic process. It is ever changing. Okay, it keeps on changing. ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಥರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಥರ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ completely having its own flexibility. It involves a continuous or you can also call that as a continuous activity because it involves a continuous review of all the performances and the result in the corrective actions which are taken by the company, and that leads to changes in the other functions of the management. So control is a dynamic process, control is a continuous activity, control is a function of management. Portscov, planning, organizing, directing, staffing, budgeting. So after all happened, you have to come up with the control and evaluation. So it is one of the major function of the management. It is pervasive function. What is pervasive function? It is performed by all the managers, all the employees in the organization to control the activities or the roles which are assigned to them. Next, control is forward looking. So it will not backward, or it will not think about what is happening yesterday. Whatever has to be happened in future, that will be calculated through controlling process. Control and evaluation is always thinks about what is happening and what has to be done. It will analyzes, or it will take into consideration of the past and present, and they will be implementing something different in the future, because future can is in our hand, but past cannot be controlled, it is already happened. Next one is, it is usually preventive. Controlling aspect is a preventive concept. It is used to minimize the wastages, losses, and the deviation from the actual standard which we have set as a objective. And the essence of the control is action. What kind of actions we have taken, or what and all we have implemented as the rules and regulations, policies, procedure in the organization, in the operational activities to get the profit. The performance of the control is achieved only when the corrective actions are taken on the basis of the feedback. Feedback is also one of the measurement technique under controlling concept. They will be taking feedback from each and every level of the management about the operations and the procedures which are implemented by the company or top level management, and that will be taken into consideration to follow up certain parallel actions related to their problems. And finally, planning and control are closely related. So control objective anta ಅಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ first you have to plan, then you have to execute, then you have to control it. So it is closely related to objectives. The next topic is control procedures. So the auditor is going to do these procedures while he was doing the audit process and when he was estimating or evaluating the internal control system. The first one is the assertion test, or the identification of the assertion, then the identification of the audit procedure and the reason for the procedures. Identifying the assertion test. Assertion is nothing but the report or the documentation which is given by the auditor, which includes everything whatever he does in the organization. So the audit procedures are performed in order to test the financial statement in an assertion form or the reporting form. Therefore, the first step in explaining the audit procedure is to identify the assertion that need to be tested. How they are going to be tested, how the report is going to be verified based on the below points. First one, the auditor is going to check the completeness in the assertion. This means that all the transactions which have been recorded in the financial statement, for example, trial balance, books of accounts, P&L account, balance sheet, in balance sheet, evaluation of assets and liabilities, shareholders capital, reserves, everything has to be checked and it has to be disclosed, and these are the things which should be there in that particular assertion. So it should be complete and there is no entry is omitted. Okay. Second one is occurrence. In that assertion, whatever the transactions or the event you have recorded, that has to be actually took place. There is no fake entries. So that must be occurred in the financial year. Thirdly, valuation and allocation. Each and every assets must be valued, and the auditor is going to check whether that asset is working for the company or whether it is unnecessary cost or a wasteful purchase. So the auditor is going to check all the items which is included in the financial statement, and he is going to check the value or the amount in each and every financial statement, and he is going to verify whether the valuations are related to book value or the market value, and whether the allocations are made correctly, fairly or not. Next one, classification and understandability. Financial information is appropriately presented and disclosed, and disclosures are clearly expressed so as to make them understandable. Who should get the understandings? That is the stakeholder. The stakeholders must understand the assertion or the audit report. So the auditor is going to check the classification and understandability level of the assertion whenever he come up with the audit report. Not only auditor, audit committee will be there, board of directors will be there, altogether they will be checking the understandability. Then accuracy. Accuracy means in each and every transaction, whether the amount or the data relating to those transactions have been recorded at the correct amount. Whenever we have done vouching, no, the value in the voucher must be there in the books of account, which is recorded, and in whatever the amount which is recorded in the books of account, that should be there in the voucher. So that is the accuracy. Next is rights and obligation. This means that the entity has a right to its asset, because it's free to use or dispose the asset by the true owners of the company who has the right to do it. So the entity is obliged to pay off the liabilities that are shown in the statement of financial position. Assets, rights, liabilities, obligations. The owners or the shareholders with the board of directors have these rights and possessions. Whenever we discussing valuation and verification, we talked about existence and possession. So this has also be tested by the auditor. Next is existence. Whether the assets or the liabilities are physically existed, not only in the paper. For example, asset, whether it is seen by you or verified physically. Whenever you are talking about liabilities, you will be having bond, share certificate, long-term loans ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ letters, bank statements. So all these things has to be verified properly before he gives, and whatever he checks, no, everything will be recorded in that assertion. And finally, cutoff. Cutoff is nothing but not the marks. Cutoff means whether the actual transaction is related to a particular year or not. For example, if any contingency is there, the transaction was happened in the previous year and recorded in the assessment year. If any example, for example, here given, if goods are delivered prior to the year end but they are included in the cost of goods sold, not in inventory. So ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಲಿನ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಬಂದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಚೆಕ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಆಡಿಟರ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನೆವರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ whenever they are preparing the audit procedure, they will be having these particular points as the step 1. Whenever you are giving the assertion, each and everything should be stated clearly. Second step is identify the audit procedure. So the audit procedure here we can easily understand with the vowels, that is A, E, I, O, U. A is equal to, or A means, or A refers to analytical procedure. E, enquiry and confirmation. I, inspection of records and assets. O, observation. U, recalculation and reperformance. So these are the 5 important points under step 2, that is identifying the audit procedure. How the audit procedure is verified and how it is going to be done by the auditor. First is analytical procedure. What is analytical procedure? It is an analysis of the audit process which is conducted in the organization. So we can easily classify that into 2 purposes. One is primary purpose or the external purpose, and secondary purpose or the internal purpose you can call. What are the primary purpose in analysis of the audit process? First is assessment of the risk. Secondly, determining the nature, timing and extent of the audit procedure. Thirdly, verification of the audit evidence for accuracy in the books of accounts. Fourth one, identifying the potential misstatement, or in simple, detection and prevention of errors and frauds by testing the assertion as well as financial statement. And overall conclusion related to the books of accounts as well as the financial position of the company. So these are the 5 points are called as primary purpose of the analytical procedure. Secondary or internal purpose of analytical process is to understand the business entity, how the business is in the market, how it is working in profitability, and how the communication can be sent by the top level management to the lower level management, and understanding the relevant business ideas and audit issues with the communication with the market too. So these are the 2 important purpose under analytical procedures. The second one is inquiry. In inquiry, I can divide 2 things: what the auditor is going to check and how he is going to check. So the inquiry is used throughout the engagement to obtain the knowledge about the entity, because he is going to determine the nature and characteristics or business operations of the entity. He is going to develop a audit plan before starting the audit procedure, and he is going to collect the specific evidence or the books of accounts with all the documents, legal requirements, and finally is going to confirm evidence collected by the other means of the communication too. Once he communicated, or once he received all the documents, then he is going to check the objectivity, experience, responsibility and qualification of the each and every individual in the organization. Whenever it comes to rights of the auditor, he is going to verify all the books of accounts. He is going to ask the information by the responsible persons. He is going to ask a clear and concise question using open or closed ended questions, and he is going to listen whatever the comments or the answers which is given by the employees actively and effectively, and he is going to maintain a skeptical mindset. Skeptical mindset means he will be not deviated, he will be thinking about the question and he get what accurately answer he need. So he is going to evaluate the interviewee's response based on the understanding of the entity and other audit procedures performed by the follow-up questions. So this is the second important audit procedure done by the auditor by using the rights. He is going to access all the books of accounts, and he has the right to ask information as well as explanation by any of the employee in the organization. Thirdly, inspection. Inspection of the documents and the records provides a degree of reliability on the nature and source of the documentation, because assets and liabilities, possession and existence is based on the information which I get by the company. So inspection of the physical assets provides a highly reliable evidence of existence, and indication of the value of liabilities can be given through papers, but we actually check, the auditor is going to check the ownership when it comes to valuation, and he is inspect all the assets as well as liabilities. Fourth one is observation. Observation of the client's entities, policies, procedures, assurance, everything is one of the important aspect under audit procedure, because the another right of the auditor is to visit personally and check all the operations, and he has the right to observe all the aspects of the organization with respect to activities, process and procedures. Once he know about all these things, then he come up with a comment in the audit report or the assertion. Last one is recalculation or reperformance. Here the auditor is going to check the arithmetical accuracy of the books of accounts. He is going to compute or recalculate the books of accounts calculations. If it is right, he is go for reperformance also. Reperformance technique is performed manually or through the use of various applications to computer based applications. So recalculation, reperformance is used to assess whether the books of accounts which are given by the company is accurate and complete. So these are the 5 important audit procedures under identification of the audit procedure, and the last step is writing down the audit procedure. Under that, first one is write it clearly. So an audit procedure should be written in such a way that even a junior auditor will be able to understand what is done exactly, and it is easy to understood by all the stakeholders, because all are not a chartered accountant, right? So the auditor, whatever he write in the assertion, it should be clear and it should be understood by each and every person or each and every stakeholder. Secondly, write down the reason for performing the audit procedure. So the reasons for the audit which is performed should be mentioned very precisely. Why it is to be done, what type of audit is done in the organization, because in the assertion is easy to understand better, and it makes make the assertion or the report more accurate. For example, it is a tax audit report, and what will be there in the tax audit report? It will be income, expenditures, deductions and exemptions of that particular accounting year. So the reason has to be written in that audit report about the audit procedure, which type of audit is performed in the company. Thirdly, use audit terminology. So the audit procedure prepared should hold the right term which matches the information and documents. And thank you.